The hum in the conference room is a physical thing, pressing against my eardrums. Muted. Like the world's holding its breath, or maybe I am. My tie feels too tight, a cheap noose I bought for days like today. Days I thought were finish lines. Mr. Henderson is speaking, his voice a low rumble, the kind that usually means good news, bonuses, pats on the back. My palms are slick. I wipe them on my trousers, a gesture I hope looks casual. This is it. The apex deal. The biggest in company history. My deal. I landed it, nursed it, closed it. The promotion to senior manager is a formality. Everyone knows it. I can almost taste the slightly better coffee, feel the marginally more comfortable chair. Henderson smiles, a slow, reptilian curve of his lips. And so, after careful consideration and recognizing outstanding contributions, he pauses. The air crackles. My heart hammers a frantic rhythm against my ribs. Here it comes. My name. My moment. It is my distinct pleasure to announce the promotion of Mark Jenkins to senior manager. The world doesn't stop. It just fractures. Mark Jenkins? Mark, who spends most of his day polishing his golf stories and networking with Henderson over lukewarm coffee. Mark, who once asked me if a pivot table was a new kind of office furniture. The sound rushes back in, a distorted wave of polite applause. It crashes over me, cold and suffocating. I see Mark, preening, a smug, self-satisfied grin plastered across his face. He catches my eye, gives a little wink, as if we're in on some grand joke together. The joke, I realize with a sickening lurch, is me. If you've ever poured your soul into something, every late night, every skipped lunch, every ounce of your talent, only to watch someone else stroll up and claim the prize, tell me your story in the comments. I read every single one. And if these stories, these moments of sharp, unexpected turns, resonate with you, please subscribe. It means more than you know, to know I'm not just shouting into the void. For 3 years, this office has been my universe. More than that, my proving ground. I came in hungry, eager to learn, eager to make my mark. Not in a cutthroat way, just, I wanted to be good at what I did. I wanted the work to speak for itself. The fluorescent lights, the endless beige, the rhythmic tap-tap-tapping of keyboards, it was the soundtrack to my ambition. I learned the clients, the products, the Byzantine internal politics. I put in the hours, the real hours, not the performative kind Mark was so good at. Staying late because there was work to do, not because the boss was still around. The apex deal was my Everest. Months of research, cultivating contacts, understanding their needs before they even articulated them. I remember the breakthrough call with Mr. Sterling, their CEO. A man who didn't suffer fools, who valued directness and confidence. We connected. He saw I wasn't just selling, I was offering solutions. He trusted me. The contract, when it finally came through, was monumental. It wasn't just a win for the company. It was a win for me, a validation. Henderson had clapped me on the back, his smile wide. This is big, kid. Really big. We'll talk. That talk, I assumed, was about the promotion. The senior manager role had been vacant for months, a dangling carrot. My predecessor had left, burned out and muttering about a lack of appreciation. I dismissed it as sour grapes. Now, his words echo with a chilling clarity. The polite applause in the conference room finally dies down. Mark is shaking Henderson's hand, a grotesque parody of gratitude. My own hands are clenched, so tight my knuckles are white. I force myself to unclench them, to breathe. It's a physical effort, like trying to inflate lungs filled with concrete. The room starts to empty, people offering congratulations to Mark, a few casting sympathetic, pitying glances my way. Those are worse than the indifference. I walk back to my cubicle, a small, gray box that suddenly feels like a coffin. The motivational poster I'd tacked up, "The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams," seems to mock me. My dream, apparently, belongs to Mark Jenkins. The rest of the day is a blur. I try to work, but the numbers on my screen swim. The words in my emails jumble into nonsense. All I can hear is Henderson's voice, Mark's name. The injustice of it is a bitter, metallic taste in my mouth. How could this happen? Did my work mean nothing? Was the apex deal, my triumph, just irrelevant? Later, I see Henderson in the hallway. He spots me, and for a fleeting second, I see something flicker in his eyes. Discomfort? Guilt? It's gone as quickly as it appears, replaced by his usual bland, managerial mask. There you are, he says, his tone unnervingly casual. Tough break, I know. Mark he has a certain rapport, you understand. Senior leadership felt he was a better fit for the interpersonal aspects of the role. Interpersonal aspects. Is that what they call schmoozing and taking credit for other people's work now? I want to scream. I want to lay out every late night, every meticulously crafted proposal, every single contribution I've made. I want to demand an explanation, a real one. But the words catch in my throat. What's the point? The decision is made. The knife is already in my back. I see. I manage, my voice flat, devoid of the storm raging inside me. He claps me on the shoulder, a gesture that feels both patronizing and dismissive. Don't worry. Your time will come. Just keep up the good work. He walks away, leaving me standing there, the echo of his empty platitudes ringing in my ears. Keep up the good work. For whose benefit? Mark's? His. The next few weeks are a special kind of hell. Mark, in his new role, is insufferable. He struts around the office, a peacock in a cheap suit. He calls unnecessary meetings, fills them with rambling anecdotes about his alleged past glories, and delegates tasks with an air of profound importance. My tasks. He starts overseeing the Apex account, which means he sits in on my calls with Mr. Sterling, contributing nothing but awkward silences or ill-timed attempts at humor. Mr. Sterling, bless his no-nonsense heart, seems unimpressed. I can hear the subtle shift in his tone when Mark speaks, a slight tightening, a hint of impatience. Sterling and I had built a rapport based on efficiency and mutual respect. Mark's presence feels like an unwelcome, incompetent chaperone. I find myself working twice as hard, once to do the actual work, and again to subtly manage Mark, to steer conversations back on track, to smooth over his gaffes. It's exhausting and deeply humiliating. One afternoon, Mark calls me into his new office, my old senior manager's office, the one I'd mentally measured for my own damn ergonomic chair. He leans back, steepling his fingers. About the Apex quarterly review, he begins, his voice dripping with condescension. I've had some thoughts. We need to present a more robust projection. Henderson is looking for big numbers. He slides a spreadsheet across the desk. It's my original projection, the one I'd spent weeks carefully calibrating, based on realistic growth and market conditions. Except now, the numbers are inflated, wildly optimistic, almost fantastical. Mark, I say, trying to keep my voice even. These figures aren't realistic. Apex will see right through this. Sterling values honesty. Mark waves a dismissive hand. Details, details. Henderson wants to see ambition. And frankly, he adds, his eyes narrowing, your initial numbers were a bit timid. Lacked vision. Timid. My carefully researched, data-driven projections, the ones that had actually helped secure the deal, were now timid. The audacity of it takes my breath away. He's not just taking credit. He's actively trying to dismantle my credibility. This isn't just incompetence anymore. This is sabotage. He's trying to paint me as conservative, lacking the supposed vision he and Henderson value. I try to argue, to explain the methodology, the risks of overpromising. He cuts me off. Just make the changes. I'm the senior manager now. My call, his smile is all teeth. That night, I don't go home. I sit in my cubicle, long after the cleaning crew has come and gone, the silence of the empty office pressing in. The altered spreadsheet glows accusingly on my screen. This is a line. If I send this, I'm complicit in his charade. I'm endorsing a lie to a client I respect. And for what? To keep up the good work in a system that's clearly rigged. A cold anger begins to solidify within me, replacing the frantic, helpless feeling. It's a different kind of anger, less heat, more steel. I look at the motivational poster again. The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. Maybe my dream isn't a slightly better office chair in this soulless corporation. Maybe it's something else entirely. An idea, small and audacious, flickers to life. What if I didn't have to play their game? What if I could build my own game, with my own rules? Rules based on competence, integrity, and actual results? The thought is terrifying. I have a mortgage, responsibilities. But the alternative, slowly dying by 1,000 paper cuts under Mark's inept reign, is even more terrifying. I pull out a fresh notepad, and I start to sketch out a business plan. The decision, when it crystallizes, feels less like a choice and more like an inevitability. I spend the next 2 weeks in a strange state of dual existence. By day, I'm the diligent employee, navigating Mark's increasing absurdities, protecting the Apex account as much as I can from his meddling. By night, I'm a whirlwind of clandestine activity, researching incorporation, drafting a lean business model, subtly sounding out a couple of trusted freelance contacts. The risk is immense. I'm walking a tightrope without a net. One particularly galling incident seals it. Mark, in a fit of managerial pique after I gently corrected him on a technical detail in front of a junior team member, decides to restructure my client communication protocols. All emails to Apex, he dictates, must now be CC'd to him and routed through him for approval before sending. He frames it as ensuring consistent messaging. I know it's about control, about making sure he's seen as the point person, even if he has no idea what he's talking about. Mr. Sterling calls me directly that afternoon, his voice tight. What's going on over there? I sent an urgent query about supply chain adjustments 3 hours ago and got a bizarre out-of-office reply from this Mark fellow saying he'd circle back after synergizing internal feedback. My intern talks like that. Are you still handling my account or not? I have to lie, or at least obfuscate. Just some new internal processes, Mr. Sterling. I'll get you the information immediately. I bypass Mark, send Sterling what he needs, and then face the music. Mark is furious I went rogue. He actually uses the word rogue. The irony is almost too much. That night, I polish my resignation letter. It's short, professional, and utterly devoid of the emotion churning inside me. 2 weeks' notice. Standard. The next morning, I walk into Henderson's office. He looks surprised to see me. I hand him the letter. He reads it, his eyebrows shooting up. Quitting? Now? After everything? I feel it's time for me to pursue other opportunities, Mr. Henderson. My voice is calm, measured. I've rehearsed this. He leans back, a frown etching itself onto his face. This is about the promotion, isn't it? You're being hasty. Impulsive. No, sir. This is about my future. He tries a different tack. Concern. Look, I know Mark can be a handful, but leaving? That's a big step. What are you going to do? A small, almost imperceptible smile plays on my lips. I'm starting my own consultancy. Henderson actually scoffs. A small, sharp sound of derision. Consultancy? In this market? With what clients? The unspoken question hangs in the air. You think you can take Apex with you? I don't rise to the bait. I believe there's a market for competence and directness, Mr. Henderson. He sighs, a theatrical display of disappointment. Well, don't let the door hit you on the way out. You'll be back. They always come back. The 2 weeks of my notice period are excruciating. Mark is openly triumphant, treating me like a ghost already. He makes a point of taking over my meetings, often cutting me off or dismissing my input with a smug, "Thanks, we'll take it from here." The rest of the office watches with a mixture of pity and morbid curiosity. I keep my head down, transfer my files, tie up loose ends. The hardest part is the silence from Mr. Sterling. I haven't told him I'm leaving. I can't, not ethically, not while I'm still an employee. I can only hope that the foundation of trust one built with him is strong enough. My last day is an exercise in quiet dignity. I pack my personal belongings into a small cardboard box, a couple of books, a chipped mug, the mocking motivational poster which I now view with a certain wry affection. It did, in its own way, point me to a different dream. As I walk out, past Mark's office. He doesn't even look up from his computer, probably playing solitaire. Henderson is nowhere to be seen. No goodbyes, no good lucks. Just the quiet closing of a chapter. The first few days of being my own boss are a cocktail of terror and exhilaration. My office is my spare bedroom, cluttered with boxes and the ghosts of forgotten hobbies. My staff is me. My revenue is a rapidly dwindling savings account. I pour all my energy into setting up the basics, a website, business cards, a dedicated phone line. The silence is the loudest thing. No ringing phones, no office chatter, no emails flooding my inbox. Just me and the terrifying expanse of the unknown. Doubt, a cold and insidious companion, starts to whisper in my ear. Did you make a mistake? Henderson was right. You're in over your head. No one will call. I push back, focusing on what I can control. I reach out to my network, the few contacts I trust. I draft proposals for hypothetical clients just to keep my skills sharp. But the apex-sized hole in my prospectus is glaring. Without a flagship client, I'm just another small-timer with big ideas. A week passes, then another. The initial adrenaline rush fades, replaced by a gnawing anxiety. I find myself checking my phone constantly, my email, every 5 minutes. Nothing. Maybe Henderson and Mark have already spun some narrative to Sterling, painting me as disgruntled, unreliable. The thought makes my stomach clench. Every creak of the floorboards in my apartment sounds like the footsteps of failure approaching. I start to imagine the conversation with the bank about my mortgage. I eat ramen, not out of hipster nostalgia, but because it's cheap. One morning, I'm staring blankly at my laptop screen, trying to summon the motivation to cold call potential leads, a process I despise, when my phone buzzes. An unknown number. My heart leaps. Probably a telemarketer. I almost ignore it, but something makes me answer. Hello. My voice is rougher than I intend. Is this narrator's name? The voice is familiar. Deep, resonant, no nonsense. My breath catches. Mr. Sterling? The one and only, he says, and I can hear the ghost of a smile in his tone. Heard you flew the coop. Took you long enough. I'm speechless for a moment. Yes, sir. I recently started my own venture. So I gathered. Your former colleague, Mark, has been an experience. There's a wealth of disapproval packed into that single word, experience. He tried to explain some new synergistic leveraging paradigm to me yesterday. I think my ears are still bleeding. Frankly, since you left, it's been amateur hour over there. A small, shaky laugh escapes me. Relief, potent and heady, floods my system. Look, Sterling continues, his voice all business again. I always valued your approach. Straightforward. Effective. You get things done. This new consultancy of yours, is it any good? I believe so, Mr. Sterling. It's built on those same principles. Good. Because Apex Industries is officially tired of synergistic paradigms. We need results. Send me your proposal. If it's half as good as your work for us before, we're in business. My hand is shaking as I hang up. Proposal? I could write that proposal in my sleep. I practically have. For a moment, I just sit there, the silence of my spare bedroom no longer feeling oppressive, but full of a sudden, brilliant possibility. The next few days are a blur of focused, intense work. I pour everything I have into the Apex proposal, tailoring it, refining it, ensuring it's not just good, but undeniable. I outline a leaner, more agile service model, direct access, no bureaucratic layers, just pure, unadulterated problem solving. I hit send with a strange sense of calm. I've done my best. The rest is out of my hands. The call from Sterling comes 2 days later. It's short and to the point. Proposal's excellent. Better than I expected. You've got a knack for cutting through the noise. My legal team will be in touch to finalize the contract. Welcome aboard, officially. I thank him, my voice thick with emotion. When I hang up, I don't shout or pump my fist. I just lean back in my cheap office chair, in my tiny spare bedroom office, and a slow smile spreads across my face. A real smile. It reaches my eyes. It's about a week later. I'm elbows deep in transitioning the Apex account, the work flowing smoothly, the communication with Sterling and his team seamless, invigorating. My phone rings. It's a number I recognize with a jolt, my old office line. Henderson. What the hell do you think you're doing? His voice is tight, furious.
No plaisanteries.
I take a slow breath. Mr. Henderson. To what do I owe the pleasure? My tone is icily polite. Don't play coy with me. Apex just terminated their contract. Our biggest client. They said they're moving their business to some new nimble consultancy. That's you, isn't it? You poached them. Mr. Sterling is a discerning businessman, Mr. Henderson. He makes his own decisions about who he wants to work with. This is unethical. This is corporate sabotage. I'll sue you. I'll sue Sterling. He's sputtering, the carefully constructed managerial facade completely shattered. On what grounds, Mr. Henderson? I ask calmly. For providing a superior service? For a client choosing competence over, well, whatever it is Mark Jenkins offers. Mr. Sterling wasn't under any exclusive contract that I'm aware of. He simply chose a vendor he trusts. There's a strangled sound on the other end of the line. I can almost picture him, face flushed, his world crumbling because of one bad, arrogant decision. Mark told me he had Apex under control. He said you were irrelevant. And you believed him. I state, not as a question, but as a fact. The silence on his end is damning. Perhaps, I continue, the words measured, precise, if you had valued actual contributions over interpersonal skills or perceived loyalty, you wouldn't be in this position. Apex didn't leave because I poached them. They left because they were being poorly served. They left because of the vacuum created when competence walked out your door. I can hear his ragged breathing.
He has nothing. No comeback.
No threat that holds water. You set this up, he finally whispers, a desperate accusation. No, Mr. Henderson. I say, a touch of weariness, but also a profound, cold satisfaction in my voice. You set this up. You and Mark. You handed me the blueprint for my own success when you showed me exactly what not to do and who not to be. You made your bed. Now, it seems, Apex has decided they don't want to lie in it with you. He hangs up. The click is abrupt, final. I stare at my phone for a long moment. There's no elation, not really. Just a quiet sense of vindication. A chapter closed. Mark, I hear later through the grapevine, is unceremoniously demoted, then quietly let go a few months later when another of his robust projections implodes. Henderson's division struggles, losing credibility and clients. The company eventually restructures, and he's transitioned out. Karma, I suppose, has a funny way of delivering its performance reviews. My own company grows. Slowly at first, then with gathering momentum as word of mouth spreads. Apex remains my cornerstone, a testament to what can be built on trust and a refusal to compromise on quality. The spare bedroom office eventually gives way to a small, leased space, then a larger one. I hire good people, people who share my values, who believe in doing the work and doing it well. I make sure they know they're valued, not just in words, but in opportunities, in respect. Sometimes, late at night, when the office is quiet, I look around at what I've built. It's not just a business. It's a rebuttal, a testament. The fluorescent lights here feel different, warmer. The dreams dreamed under them feel more real, more attainable because they are built on a foundation of integrity, not illusion. The bitterness of the betrayal has faded, replaced by a quiet strength, a hard-won wisdom. Sometimes, the deepest cuts, the most profound injustices, don't break you. They remake you. They show you what you're truly capable of once you stop playing by someone else's rigged rules and start writing your own. That old office, Henderson's smug pronouncements, Mark's empty suit, they feel like scenes from a half-forgotten movie, one with a surprisingly decent ending. If this story found you in a moment where you're questioning your path or feeling unseen, drop a comment with where you're listening from and what time it is. I find a strange comfort in knowing we're all out here, navigating these currents. And please, subscribe. It helps me share more stories like this one, Stories of finding your own way, even when the map is torn up.